Hi, my name is Stefanie with Stefanie Buys Houses, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about an issue that many landlords face, selling their house with tenants involved. And some people think, can you even sell a house with tenants involved? Do you have to have them move out? Do you have to wait till their lease is up? So many questions surrounding around selling with tenants involved. So we're going to break it down in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. So let's start off with selling your house with tenants in place. Yes, you definitely can sell your house with the tenants in place. So let's just say you signed up a new lease maybe a month ago, and this is for a full year. This may not be month to month. This may be a full year. You can still sell the property. Now, that new person buying the property, which is most likely going to be another investor, a landlord, purchasing the property, they're going to have to honor that lease that is originally put in place from you and that tenant. So you would actually be assigning your rights from that initial lease to that new tenant, and they would be taking over the property and they would inherit that tenant involved with all the terms that you and the tenant agreed upon from writing that initial lease. So you definitely can do that. I mean, it gives you some ease knowing that the tenant is not going to be kicked out, knowing that everything is going to be as smooth as possible with that. All they're going to be doing is just transferring the ownership from you to that new landlord and transferring the existing lease to that new landlord. So that's the process of selling it with the tenant in place. But let's say the tenant is on a month-to-month lease. In that case scenario, even in the first case scenario, you can make sure you let the tenant know that you are selling. Some landlords actually don't let the tenants know that they are selling or not because they think it's none of their business. Now, it depends all upon that relationship you have with the tenant. Me personally, I like telling them that we are selling the property. I don't want them not knowing I don't want them not knowing what's going on because it's their family. They may have a family. It may be them individually if they're single, whatever the case may be. That's their life. This is their property. This is where they're staying at, their shelter. So for me personally, I do like telling them if I am going to sell a property or not. But some landlords don't, unfortunately. So that's the downside, and it can get hard if you do build relationships with your tenants and have a really good relationship with them, because it's like, where are they going to go? So, that's just something to think about unless you have another rental property they're able to move into. But that's just the tough part when it comes to real estate and real estate investing as a landlord. Now, what I will say is when you are selling the property with the tenant involved, you always have to make sure you're giving 24-hour notice before any showings. They need to be aware of what's going on. If there's an inspector coming out, if there's a buyer coming to see the property, if there's an appraisal coming out, you need to make sure they're aware. And also let them know, if they have any valuable things as buyers are walking through, make sure to put that away. Make sure that there's things that people can't see that they try to steal or anything like that, because you want to make sure they're secure and nothing is stolen on their side of things as well. So overall, when it comes to selling your property with the tenants, it can be a simple process, but it really just all depends on the type of tenants you have. And you do just need to be aware that if you are going to sell the property with tenants and you do put the property on the market, you do have a limited buyer pool. Your buyer pool is only going to be targeted to investors. Whereas if the house, it's just a single family without tenants involved, then your buyer pool opens because you have maybe an investor that's interested, but you may have, a single person that's interested or a full family that may be interested. So you can see your buyer pool is going to be open and you may potentially get more money for the property. Whereas going back to if you have the tenants involved and they're still staying at the property and it's a single family house, then it's just going to be an investor that's most likely going to purchase the property and you're going to get that investor friendly price. So it just all depends on what you're looking for. But most importantly, it all depends upon what you have in your lease agreement and, when the lease is up with your tenant. But make sure you let them know, you want to make sure they have a solid place as well. So that is it for today's video. At the end of the day, you can still sell your house with tenants in place, if they're in place or if they're not. It just comes down to the lease. It comes down to making sure they're aware, I would say. And then also making sure they know whenever someone is walking through the property so that they can put any valuables away and they can be ready for that walkthrough. So I hope this video helped you. If it did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are looking to sell your property with tenants in place, we will purchase with tenants in place. Or if you have a property that doesn't even have tenants and may be vacant, maybe absentee, whatever the case may be, we are looking to purchase properties in as-is condition. So you can check us out at stefaniecashoffer.com. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.